partnership with Barrachd on identifying early identification of vulnerable children across Stirling area. This all started, I'm going to set the scene here, and David's going to run through a few quick slides. But this all started about 18 months ago with a child protection report, and basically it said the council wasn't intervening early enough. So what we did as a desktop exercise, we looked at 90 families with a range of challenges. One particular family in the council areas cost the council for about £2.4 million over the last 8 years, and we're still intervening with them. So what was all these social work and education interventions? Why are they not effective? How much is it costing us? And in parallel to that, I looked around the council and started to look at what data we've got about kids and vulnerable people in general. We've got social work data, we've got education data, we've got housing data, we've got vulnerable person reports from the police, we've got antisocial behaviour data. So the data was there, and the vision was, what do we do with that? How can we help support all this early intervention agenda? So in late 2011, we first came across David and Robbie Crawford from Barrachd, and with our Assistant Chief Executive's vision and their ability to actually deliver a solution, that was really when we started to move forward from there. So in January last year, we did a quick proof of concept. Can we join the data up? There's no common ID across all of these systems. Can we join the data up? And what is the data telling us? We'll start to look at the cost of interventions, of social work and education interventions, and analyse why are they effective and why are they not effective, and actually why we're actually intervening in the first place. And we also layered on some demographic data. So there's several solutions that could be seen on the face of it being similar to this out there in other councils. But what basically the work is that we want to know about David Fairley, and it goes into data mining and tells us all about David Fairley. So this one is fundamentally different because we're joining up all the data that we know about the children that could be vulnerable and the environment that surrounds them as well. And the data is telling us that the concerns have changed, and we're setting thresholds and levels, and social workers and educated teachers are going out and actually dealing with the problems. So after all that, my chief executive said to me, go and give me a legal basis to do this. Thanks very much, I thought. And before me was the masked series ranks of the data protection industry, and they are a formidable foe, I can tell you. This is no thin red line. So we sat back a bit and thought, well, who do we need to consult to get the legal basis to do this and move this forward? Because we know it's right, we know we should be doing it. And there's various government reports that have come out and said this is what you should be doing. But there's also other parts of the government, not very far from here, that actually says you can't do it. However, so we had consultation at various levels in the Scottish Government. We had a very interesting discussion with Sir Harry Burns, the Chief Medical Officer, who was very supportive of what we were doing. And various chief executives, various councillors, and to his great credit, the Information Commissioner, who was extremely helpful. And even at one time when I was a bit low and all this, thinking, am I ever going to get this project off the stalks? I went and had a little chat with the statue of Robert Burns. The statue of Robert the Bruce at the gates of Stirling Castle. And just about as he was about to tell me the answer, there was a big busload of noisy Spanish tourists, so I didn't even get the answer at all. Apart from it was something that was 2014, I don't know what that's about. So, anyway, after all that, the council gave us full approval for the project to go ahead in December last year, and very quickly, I marshalled all my troops in Stirling Council and Barrachd, and us have been building a solution. It's there now, it's right there, very early days, all the data's joined up, and we're starting to look at, what is this consolidated data telling us? What's the chronology through time? It's changing through time. David will maybe talk about examples later, but this poor kid all of a sudden isn't attending Breakfast Club anymore. And this criminal justice data is telling us that mother's partner's just come out of prison. I don't know if that's a problem or not, but it's flagging things up that could be. So the solution's there. We've got the legal basis to do this. There's a huge amount of work done, and I would really say to any other council as they're going down this route, come and speak to us. It's a lot of this stuff's in the public domain, but we've learned a huge amount over this journey. And finally, before I pass over to David, I'm going to get some personal facts for this project. Actually, firstly, my Assistant Chief Executive, Janice Hewitt, and for two things really: her vision on what she wanted to do and what it was supporting, and also a great tenacity to keep going, because there were several times we thought, well, there was just too many hurdles to go over here. The Council's legal team were great, and they really supported me all through all of this. And Ken MacDonald, the Information Commissioner, I don't think he's often seen as somebody that tells you you can't do things and hits you with a big stick if you do something, but he was incredibly supportive. And obviously, finally the Barrachd team, for two reasons: one, for building a technical solution in a very short time, in a very cost-effective manner, but also at times when I was a bit low thinking I would never get this done, for actually supporting me and saying, you know, keep the faith, and this is the right project to do, and there's a lot of benefits at the end of it. So I'm going to pass it to David.
What I'd like to do is just take you through really the look and feel of the solution and what we come up with. Just to set a bit of background, there's two terms here you might not be familiar with if you're not involved in the public sector. But NEET is not an employment, education or training. So that's children that are leaving school and don't have what the government call a positive destination. In other words, they don't know what they're going to do when they leave school. The other term is GovFit, which is getting it right for every child. So what Stirling Council, what all the councils and what the Scottish Government have realised is that there is a huge cost with vulnerable children and troubled families from birth right through to death. The cost is enormous. Grant talked about one family in Stirling. Mother, father, 4 children, 2 children in residential care, mother on methadone, father in and out of prison all the time. It's cost the council £2.4 million over the piece. They reckon they could have sent them to the Bahamas for their entire lives, and it would be cheaper than trying to look after them in Stirling. So there is a huge cost involved in doing this. But what they found out is that early intervention is the answer. The more you can do early, the more opportunity you have to change the journey, if you like. So early intervention is key, and it will save both time and money. They reckon that every pound spent at the birth end will save about £9 at the death end. So, in order to do this, Stirling obviously had to say, well, where are our vulnerable children? Now, they knew that they had vulnerable children in their midst. They knew that the information was held in lots of different areas. They knew they had information in social work, they had information in police databases, accident, emergency, etc. And what they did was they said, we need to find out who these children are. So they actually conducted a manual exercise to go out in the first instance, sent out a questionnaire to headmistresses, headmasters and heads of social work and said, who are our vulnerable children? And they actually compiled a manual list and came back with 90 names. And they said to Barrachd, these are our vulnerable children. How can we extract that information electronically? How can we do the same job and keep that information not up to the community all the time? So the task that we were faced with was how can we join all of this data together? So this is the situation that we have. You see the child here at the centre. We knew there was information in social work. It's still on the system called SWIFT, which tends to be quite common throughout the different local authorities. We knew there was information in there. The police get vulnerable persons reports, information in of an evening, and they, if it involves children, download that information automatically into the social work system. We knew there was information in education. Most of the councils in Scotland use a system called CMIS, and we knew that there was information, valuable information in there. And the other thing we found out was that the name and address information held in CMIS is most likely to be up to date. Obviously, a child comes up and playground in day one and say, who are you? He's Johnny Smith, 1 Acacia Avenue. Let's get his name updated onto the system. So education tends to have the most up-to-date information about name and address. And we used that to link through to the housing system. A lot of councils are using Northgate, and we were able to do fuzzy matching on name and addresses to try and find that we had the right information in the housing system. We also knew that there was a massive information out there freely available in the internet, so we were able to access information like 7D, deprivation information. We could get postcode information about average incomes by postcode, etc. We could find information on how many community centres they have, how many schools, libraries, licensed premises do they have in different information was all freely available, and the other information we were keen to get was from health, and again, if we could pull information about accident, emergency, or drugs and alcohol related information from health, then that would be a huge asset. So really we were tasked with pulling this all together, and that's what we set out to do, and that's what we achieved basically. And it was a technological exercise on our part to go and extract that information and join it. We are not social workers, we're not police or health workers. We weren't telling people or designing systems to say this is how you manage the council better. All we were tasked with was pulling the data together, and we left the professionals to get on with doing what they did better. So, just to look at what the system looks like, we're using Cognos, IBM Cognos, to extract the information from the different and disparate systems. If you look down the left-hand side here, you see the dimensions and measures that we can access from these systems. So you'll see SWIFT there, you'll see CMIS, you'll see repairs, and you'll see prison information. We've also tied into the criminal justice system to understand information about prisoner release dates, etc. So what this allows us to do is to drag information from the left-hand side of the screen there across onto the right, and obviously that's what Cognos does, and it allows you to create reports. And you can see here in an example, what we're doing is we're pulling information from social work. We've got the SWIFT ID, which is the person's identity number. We see the age of the child. We see the number of surnames that child has had. That may seem strange to people who are not involved in this type of arena, but we have seen a child of 11 years of age at Stirling Council who has 14 different addresses and 5 different surnames. And that's just beyond most folks' comprehension, I would imagine, in this room. I was absolutely staggered when I saw some of this stuff. We also pulled across address counts, and again you can see there how many different addresses they've had. We pulled information from the police. Don't know if you're aware, but a category 0 phone call is like it's a phone call to the police, and the police are aware that there's an issue, and they say, right, okay, we've taken a note of that. A category 4 call is effectively a 999 call, and the police have to respond. We were interested in 999 calls where there was drugs or alcohol related, and that's what we've pulled out here. We also pulled information from CMIS, from the education system, and what we were trying to find out there was attendance rates at school. So you can see there the attendance rate for the child, what has been the change, the percentage change in the last 4 weeks, and what is the trend of that, so is it getting better or getting worse? And obviously we're looking for people who are changing rapidly. So again, we're not social workers, it's up to the professionals, the named professionals who actually look at this data and say, right, what we're going to do with it. So, you know, a professional could look at this and look at the line across the top there. We know this child, he's age 5, he's in 3 different surnames, 4 different addresses, and he's been involved in a number of category 4 alcohol and drugs related calls, and there's been a decline in his attendance. So on our live system, if I clicked on that SWIFT ID number, what that would do is take us through to that screen now. And if you look at that there, what it's doing is it's pulling information there from education, from police, from social work, and from housing, and and from health. And that screen there had never been seen before. It was the first time that they had ever been able to pull all of that information onto the one screen at the one time. Now, the way that they were set up at Stirling was they had created what we called a multi-agency service hub, or a MASH, and the idea was that we would put different professionals from different agencies in that one room at the one time. So the plan was 3 policemen, 3 social workers, 3 education workers, and an NHS person. Now, in days gone by, when they got a call in about a vulnerable child, somebody would put their hand up and say, has anybody heard of Johnny Smith at 1 High Street? And they would have a confab, and if they found out that he knew something, she knew something, then they'd have a quick team meeting and discuss what was the next course of action for that child. What this system has done is it's pulled all of that information onto the one screen at the one time, so it's all there, and obviously the key in the child's name, and it brings up all the information that we have about that child, and that's been a real labour-saving, time-saving exercise for them. The other thing that's a major benefit here is the fact you see the relationships. So as well as looking at John Smith who is the child. We also see his father, his brother and his mother. And if we click on the ID for these individual people, it will refresh the screen with that person's details. So again, the social worker doesn't have to make a phone call or send an email, go to another filing cabinet and pull that information out. It's all available there on the screen and refreshable. Another thing we did was, or what we built into this is the textual analytics. Again, we looked at one child in a live scenario at Stirling, and we had 14 pages of case notes about this one child. Now, you can imagine how labour intensive that is, looking through 14 pages, looking for keywords about that child's environment. What we can do automatically using textual analytics is to look for words like intoxicated and needles, and you can see that in the second line of the first example there. And also down at the bottom, we can build in colloquialisms like he went on a bender. I'm sure you can think of other terms of when he's had too much to drink. But we can look for those kind of words and pull them out automatically, and that's hugely saving in time. So the whole thing about this is providing the right information to the right people at the right time to allow them to make better and faster decisions, and that's certainly what this achieves. The final thing that part of this solution is to understand the child's network. Now, believe it or not, that could be a scenario for a child. So that's the child right at the centre. And obviously the people that are closest are mother, father, brothers, aunties, uncles, grandparents, etc. As you get further out from the circle, we start to see school teachers, we start to see social workers, and then you get into the wider community and other people that they come into contact with for whatever reason. Now, we can use this and we can filter it to look for vulnerabilities in that. And when we do that, we end up with a diagram that looks something like that. And what you're seeing is the light blue circles there are actually alcohol-related people, shall we call them. The slightly bigger circles are drugs-related people, and the big circles are sex offenders. So where the child actually sits at the moment, they're actually fairly safe. There's nothing too close to them that is particularly nasty, but we're identifying them as being vulnerable for whatever reason. Now, what Stirling said was that there is a situation where you could actually make things worse. Supposing you took that child from his current environment and moved them a couple of inches north in that diagram there, you would be taking them from a relatively safe environment and putting them in amongst a whole load of drug dealers and sex offenders. So you've actually made the situation worse. So a network understanding like this allows you to make much better and more informed decisions. So moving a child doesn't always make it better, but it clearly should. So that's really the three parts to the system. First bit is the information part, the second piece is the predictive part, and the third piece is the network part. And the only question I have for you really is, did anyone see anyone walking there?